Hello, hello. I hope I'm doing this right. Yes, I think I'm doing this right. It's the first time I'm doing this new Facebook Live thing, and I don't know where to look to find what's going on, but let's see. If you can see me, and if I'm loud enough and clear enough, please send like a thumbs up or a message or even like a full stop. That's fine, just to save time. Hello. Hi, Charu. Hi, guys. I hope I'm clear. I think Facebook streaming has changed a little bit, so I just wanted to check if you all can hear me properly. I'm Vasundhara, and today I'm going to be talking about old and new methods to allow our voices to emerge in a very different way than we normally or commonly do. Great, Charu. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's get down to it. There's a lot of science that has evolved around the voice recently, and maybe that's a decent place to start from, because our ancient knowledge has already been speaking about these things, but let's kind of move backwards a little bit through time and understand why those notions were really powerful. Hi, Vrinda. Hey, Anandi. Amazing. Okay, I'm so happy you guys are here. Okay, so the very first thing for all those of you who are not part of my regular sessions, just to kind of bring everybody onto the same page, all the scientific research points to one thing. It points to the fact that voice and breathing, right? Voice, which is the originator of sound, and breathing, which is the actuator of sound, which is the thing that sets the entire machine in motion. Both of these things are perfectly controlled when we do not interfere in the process. The other thing about voice itself is that it doesn't have wires or nerves in a particular part of our brain, right? Which controls our wish to do something. Meaning, the nerves that go from my hand up onto my brain are not the same as the ones that go from my voice up into my brain. Meaning, it's not like the nerves are not the same, it's just that the way they are mapped and where they are mapped in the brain is very, very, very different. Okay, so this means that the only true direct way to speak to the voice is through perception, is through emotional signals, and through images, right? And now this opens an entire world of singing, because not only does it help us tap into the old notions of singing that were really, really important, but it also helps us build on those now that we have proof about it. So let's get on with it. When we think of voice, right, we think of notes. But today, for today's session, we're going to think of it as a flux. And also, when we are looking at a note, we're going to know from now on that a note is not one thing, it's an entire choir of sounds. So a note is not beep, it's not that, it's not a beep. It's ah, 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 right? It's all these different sounds, even though it's the same note, which means the note inherently is a choir of sounds arranged around the fundamental frequency. And this is manipulable to the greatest degree in the human voice. And this is what makes the human voice a much more powerful instrument, because it's a living instrument. And it's not calibrated, it doesn't have steps, it's a flux, and that's how melody really works. So today, instead of learning a song, I'm going to sing anything, and you are going to sing anything that you like in response to that. Because we're just looking at the notion of voice and the notion of how sounds may change with perceptual and emotional signals. To set up for this, I want us to do one thing. I want us to first understand the relationship between our eyes and our ears. There's a really big difference in hearing depending on how our eyes are focused. So most of us are probably looking at our phones or looking at our computers, but the most important aspect to onset singing is to go away from tight focus. So for a second, I want you to start not defocusing, but relaxing the focus of your eyes, right? This is going to literally shift the way our brain works. And as you loosen the focus of your eyes, you'll notice your ears become much sharper. You hear many peripheral sounds in your room, either your fan or your air conditioner. I want you to keep easing off the focus so that you are more like in an expanded watchful state rather than a focused pinpoint state. It changes your hearing immediately. Loosen the focus a little more and sense how much the room becomes alive, the sounds of the room, the way the sounds are bouncing around in the room. And now I want you to sing any note. It doesn't have to be the one that I choose, right? Use an R vowel. Ah, ah. Just experience that note and understand that it has a certain quality. It has a pitch, but more than pitch, it has a quality, which makes it a choir of sounds rather than a beat, rather than a note. Ah. Now I want you to tighten your focus again. I want you to get into that whole, looking at many messages kind of thing. And then sing again. Ah. You'll notice you don't hear your voice the same way. Go back and forth between the two states. Very loose focus. Ah, tight focus, like you've read many messages. Ah, did you also perceive my voice changing? Because of course I know I heard it differently. So now you realize that your voice feels a lot more resonant and present with one tweak, and that single tweak was loosening the focus of your eyes, right? It shifts your entire mental state and it allows for peripheral sounds to become included in our hearing. The second thing, the voice carries a lot more information than empiricals. What are empiricals? Empiricals mean high, low, loud, soft, right? These are the things that are generally notated. These are the things that, that are part of the brief, right? Along with the brief, the second brief is feeling. Now, this is the thing I want to talk about next. When we are learning a song and people are going to say, you got to feel it like this, like you got to feel it happy, or you got to feel it loose and lilting, or you know, it's feeling powerful and kind of, it's got a punch to it. These are briefs which we associate with sounds. But when we change that brief into true emotion, the sound becomes vastly different. And we are on this beautiful platform where we're learning each other's songs. So it's very important to learn to tap empathically into the context, to the extent that we can, of the other culture. What do the images feel like to the person who's teaching you the song, right? Rain is a very positive thing in India, whereas in so many other cultures, it's considered like, oh my God, it's raining, and it's part of painful lyric. But in India, we look at rain as woo, right? So the way the culture interprets sound and image changes everything. So part of the brief is also beginning to create a bridge of empathy between yourself and the person who's teaching you a song who you've never known before, who you might even never meet. Okay, so we've already discussed songs don't necessarily only mean the empiricals. Those are part of the brief. Now let's start experiencing this in our bodies. I'm going to sing some random notes and you can respond with random notes, right? I'm going to keep some space in the middle. Feel free to sing over me as well. The important thing is that you experience the sound, right? So I want you to first, again, loosen the focus. I'm going to keep reminding you because we are both staring at screens. So loosen the focus and phonate any sound that you like. Ah, ah, ah. Keep loosening the focus and seeing how much more of your voice you can hear. Ah, ah. Now, I want you to talk to the next aspect, right? The tongue is connected to everything else. Basically, the voice is like a system. I want you all to release the back of the tongue. Just allow it to go to sleep, right? Ah, and now I want you to keep singing with the same defocused eyes and the same loosened, very relaxed, soft back of the tongue. Ah, it's like it's falling, it's going to sleep. Ah. When you sing higher, there's no need to pull it in. Let it drop because this is slowly going to open us out to many more overtonal possibilities. Ah, ah, ah. Loosen your eyes, the focus of your eyes, and let the tongue feel like it's going to sleep, no matter how high or low you sing. Notice what the sound is doing to the rest of your body. Today we're not going to perform. Today we're just responding to each other as two humans, and there's just sound in between us. That's a tight tongue. You want to loosen it. Now, I want you to place a gentle hand on your faces. You're sending a signal in through your body, right to the emotional place of your brain. A very gentle, loving hand on your face while you're singing. Maintain the generation of love. Keep the eyes as comfortable and as wide focused, loose focused. And now we're going to start discovering something that's quite important in Indian culture, which is the temporal notion of sound. So we understand that our bodies change through the day, which basically means that our entire instrument is different through the day. There's also, when you sense compatibility with the time of day, the way the body produces sound is different. This often happens in briefs to me as well, where recently I was doing a recording and somebody said, hey, you're singing like it's 7:30. I need you to sing like it's 3 a.m., right? There's a temporal stamp to any sound that comes out of us. So let's discover that now. Again, we are loosening, we're sending. I'm doing this to just calm myself. And you can do this as well to calm yourselves because the body changes and the voice changes. The eyes are feeling nice and defocused, and I want you to think that it's early, early morning. You're at the beach and it's early, early morning. The tongue is asleep. Connect to your own sound. Pick any notes that you like. But think that it's just beginning to be dawn and you're at the beach. You've got the sea in front of you. Let the body join and participate in the emotional feeling that early morning brings out in you. Sense the temperature of the morning. Sense the sound of the sea and the peep of sunlight. Let the body join in. The soft coarseness of the sand. Change the vowel if you want, but you're still in morning state. And now you sense a very hot afternoon setting in. People are alive, walking around, calling out to each other, so it's much, much, much louder around you. And you want to sing the same melodies that you've chosen, but with the afternoon feeling, the temporal stamp of afternoon. Really bright, hot sun. Ensure your tongue is loose and your eyes are still quite loose focused. You're invoking the time stamp of afternoon. Your body is going to feel different because you're feeling now that you're much more active. There are people around you, they're talking, they're selling stuff, they're calling each other, they're doing business. Did you feel a change in your sound though? I felt a change in my sound. My instrument has changed. Keep singing with a defocused eye, loose focused. Din, there's busyness, and it's hot. Okay? Now we're going to move it to the temporal stamp of evening. Okay? So let's onset the evening. Sometimes we like to visit our friends. Sometimes we like to connect with our parents. We take our pets for a walk. An evening is a very specific kind of energy. And we want to bring that time stamp into our voice, right? So invoke that sense of social, that sense of thinking, that sense of connecting. Those are all qualities of an evening energy. It's not like the day is moving and all of that, right? Evening, the day is winding down, you're easing off, and you're connecting either to yourself over a cup of tea or taking your pet or meeting your friends. Hey, ah, 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 ah. See how your voice converts that time stamp into a sound. Ah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking of some of the friends I like to meet, sometimes go watch a gig. Hey, 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 tell me how your voices are feeling. Bring in the timestamp of evening. Feel free to explore your range. You'll know the entire tonality changes throughout the range of your voice. La 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 la. La 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 la. Right? Shift back to early morning. Change the timestamp onto your voice. Oh, yeah. This is the kind of morning where you've just woken up. Different from that dawn by the sea. Just woken up, meeting the day, making some coffee if you drink coffee. La la da 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 la 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 da da da. Yeah, this is very different from the evening. Keep exploring your voices. Did the voice change? I think mine did. It got a little woofier. So now Let us all sing the same melody, right? You can use whatever vowels you like. La 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 da da. Uh, uh. La 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 da 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 da. It doesn't matter what language you like to sing. It's just a melody adapted to yourself. Morning feeling. La 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 la. And now the body is awake. The body is awake. You're moving through life. It's daytime. It's afternoon. La 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 la. If you sense a change in my voice, I'm quite certain there's going to be a change in yours. La 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 la. Keep singing in the way you like. La 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 la. It's afternoon. La ah ah ah. La 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 la. And now evening. La 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 la. As soon as I felt evening, my voice changed. Da 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 da. La 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 da da. Evening. Da 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 do la 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 la. Explore it in your own way. Sing on top of my voice, it doesn't matter. Evening feeling. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, la, 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 la. Oh, yeah. Da, 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 la, 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 and the depths of night. Really, really late at night. Think about it. Think about a solitary feeling. If you have a good relationship with sleep, think about that time where you feel, it's time. You'll sense a change in your body and sing, la 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 la. I can sense my voice darkened. La 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 la. Deep, deep night. La 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 la. La 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 la. Deep night. Time to go to bed. Time to be alone. La 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 la. Sleep is such a solitary, beautiful, connecting activity. La 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 la. Deep, deep night. La la la. La 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 la. Lulling yourself into a peaceful state. La 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 la. It doesn't matter what notes you choose. They could be high or low, but the time stamp will be very specifically named. La 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 la. Afternoon, full. The body is feeling active. La la da 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 la la la. Da 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 da. Did you see a different kind of life comes into the voice with the timestamp change? Let it do, afternoon. Let it do, let it do, do. Okay. So this first half hour, we discovered how the overtonal quality of our voice, meaning all the sounds around the central frequency of the voice, are deeply dependent on the perception of time. The other thing is, obviously, we're all sitting here at like, it's 10 p.m. for me right now, but it's the stamp of time that we perceived that translated into our voice. Now we're going to go to another aspect of singing, and I really, really enjoy this one because it really changes all the singers that I work with. And this is called angle. So another thing that a lot of us hear as part of a brief is project. And of course, because most of us are, performing in front of people and facing people, or we have a mic in front of us. So the notion of projection is kind of forward. But in terms of how the human voice functions, we can actually send our voice to many different places. And that actually happens in our everyday life. I live with my dog, and if I know he's in front of me, my voice sounds one way. And if I know he's in another room, my voice sounds a different way when I'm calling him. And if you are there, you'll know because that directional aspect is embedded in the sound of the voice. So now we're going to look at angle, right? I hope you're reminding yourselves to keep a loose focus. Now we're going to look at a sharp angle, a parallel projection, like a pointed projection, a parallel projection, about 45 degrees in front of you projection, and radial. These are the 4 images or direction stamps that we're going to use in our voice. So let's take any melody, and we're going to keep doing the same thing that we did before, but now we're going to look not at time, but at direction. Da 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 da. Now think that with your voice, it's a pinpointed kind of projection. Da da but do. Maybe the mic is really, I just imagining the mic is really small, or like some really little thing. Da da do. And when we change, keep the volume the same so that you notice the change in tone. Da da do. Singing through a little hole. Da da do. La da da. Use open vowels too. La da da la. Da do. Da la. Keep trying this. Thank you, Barry. I just saw your message. Hi, guys. I'm so happy to see you here. Lakshay, Monica. Okay, so pointed projection, right? Now we change it to 45 degrees, right? So you extend your arms 45 degrees on both sides and sing the same stuff that you were singing. Da da ba da 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 la da 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 la da 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 da. Keep trying this. La da 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 do. It doesn't matter whether doing ooh or ah, because here we're changing the directional stamp. Do 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 la da 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 da. Now back to pointed, really pointed, really music small. Da 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 da. La da 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 da. Do you hear a difference in your voice? As long as you're not performing, the voice will change. Because we get into a natural state and the voice starts responding to the state of mind and body. Right? So now with this directional state, guys, we are thinking more mind, right? With the timestamp thing, we started sensing changes in our body as we related to different parts of the day. And this segment is talking about just direction, meaning if I'm singing to a baby, right? Or if I'm doing a take, yeah? Or if I'm singing to someone very close to me, my projection is going to be a certain way. But if I'm singing to a group of people in a room, the projection angle is going to change, and that's the stamp that we are going to hear in our sound, right? So let's go to singing to a baby or a puppy or something that's very sweet and very small in front of you. Do do la 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 da da la da da. Make up your melody, sing over me, doesn't matter. Do 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 la 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 la. It's something very small in front of you, very close. Do 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 da 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 la 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 la. Explore your range with this projection. Right? Now, you want to put that thing aside and you want to change the notion to a bunch of people standing in front of you. Let's say 5 people standing in front of you, 2 meters in front. Or let's not say 2 meters. Let's say a little less, closer to you. Okay? Now, 45 degrees. Yeah, yeah, la, 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 la. Did you hear your voices change? La, 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 da, da, da. 5, 10 people in front of you. La, da, 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 da. Keep going. Now, you change that number of people to, let's say, 50, right? But they're not far away. They're kind of close. It's like, like in an office, there's a gathering, there's somebody's birthday, there's a bunch of people standing around you, right? So 50 people standing around you, kind of close, not very far, right? Let's sing to them now. It's not 5 people, it's many, many more than that, but close to you. La 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 da 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 la la da da. You're singing to each and every individual. It's 10 times of that 5. Da da la da 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 da. They're still in front of you, but they're kind of close to you. Da da la 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 la. Keep singing on your own. See them, sing to each of them, but most importantly, sense the mass of 50 people. Da la 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 la. Now come back to holding the baby or the puppy. La da la da da la da da. Same melody. La da da. Da da la da da la da da la da da la da da. Much gentler it becomes, much smaller in notion. the sound itself. And then 50 adults in front of you. La da la da da la da 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 da. Right? Lakshay, I like your comment, which is that's not a big difference. It's true. The difference is it can be massive depending on how clearly you're thinking of the image. But in empirical terms, it's kind of small, except the entire meaning of the sound changes. That means if you are singing a lyric thinking that you're singing to 50 people in front of you, close to you, the sonic meaning of that lyric is going to be very different from if you think you're singing to a baby, or you're singing to someone really close to you, or you're singing to maybe a parent, right? Or my grandmom, you know? So even though the overtonal difference is subtle, it's A, perceptible, B, it changes completely the meaning of your performance. Thank you, Gaurav. So now we've noticed that there's a time stamp in our voice. There's a direction stamp in our voice. Let's look at another direction, right? So you must have watched like films or like skits or whatever, where somebody's standing there, right? But the person is facing the audience. Or you're calling out or addressing someone behind you to the side. So if I send my voice out to you guys like this, like I'll just call out to Gaurav because his message is right here. Hey Gaurav, hey Gaurav, like my sound feels forward. But if I really believe that Gaurav is here, and I don't know, I might just fail at this right now, but I know that it changes when I do believe it. Imagine Gaurav is here, right? I'll go, hey Gaurav, did you guys sense a directional shift? It's different from hey Gaurav, hey Gaurav, hey Gaurav. There's not much of a difference in volume. There's a directional change. Right? Hey, hey. So I think we are wired to hear this. We are wired to know how we are calling out to each other within a tribe, within a family, within a physical space. Right? So that's another kind of color that embeds itself in our voice when we are singing. So let's all go from front and close to back and wide, right? So let's go from whatever your preferred image is, singing to a baby or to a puppy or holding somebody that's very close to you, or singing to a grandparent who's very close to you. Sense of tenderness. Ah, la la la. Ah, make up your melodies. Ah, 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 tender, close, pointed. Ah, 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 ah. Right? Try this a little longer on your own. Eyes are nice and relaxed so that you hear yourselves better. And now you're singing wide and back. It's like the angle is like, ooh, like this. Okay? Same volume, okay? You'll notice a tonal change. Ah, 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 ah. Try this for a while. Now back to baby, or whatever it was in front of you. Tenderness, close. Ah, ah, ah. Cool. And now the last one, the last stamp, but the one that takes the longest to allow. It's true emotion. It's not just an emotional signal. Like if somebody's saying that, this is an angry song, or this is a song with attitude, or like this is a old folk song, or whatever, right? We make approximations in our heads as to what those emotions sound like. But an audience, or any human actually, is going to sense a distinct shift between an approximation of an emotion and a truly felt emotion. An approximation has a certain stamp on your voice. A true emotion has a certain stamp on your voice, right? So what's going to happen is that, Soumya, I have a question. How is the breath changing while dealing with this? Soumya, the breath, the rate of your heartbeat, everything changes with a shift of emotional state. Literally, your body temperature, I mean, everything changes with a shift in emotional state. And it's like a filter has kind of switched on. So the point, I mean, even though there's so much research about this, and you guys can Google this to like up until the end of time, but the point is to allow the shifts to happen so that your voice can accurately reflect how you're feeling. Right? So when I go back to the point I was making, that there is an approximation of an emotion or a perceived idea of this is how an angry song is, or this is how a happy song is, right? Those approximations, what do they translate into when an audience hears that? They hear a singer performing, right? That stamp is very clear, and the audience is going to clearly see, okay, there's someone who's trying to perform a song, and they might really enjoy your performance, but the point is they're going to know that you're performing. When it's a truly felt emotion, somehow there, and in fact there are actual signals that go through people's bodies. People are wired to understand true emotion, which is why, and we've discussed this in all the workshops, we know when someone's lying and we know when someone's saying the truth. In the same way, we know when someone is singing the truth. So that emotional, a true emotional stamp on your song is going to be entirely different from the approximation of an emotion, right? And so your audience is going to really feel, you don't even have to sing really well for it. They'll feel connected. They'll be like, wow, I felt something. They'll take home an experience that's very different from watching a performance. They'll be invested in a performance. So I want to end this session with this really important thing. You want to tap into real emotion rather than an approximation of an emotion, right? Also, each singer experiences emotions differently. The way I experience anger is very different from how Lakshay experiences anger, right? Or my way of happiness is quite muted. It's not like, but a lot of people feel an exuberant sort of happiness. So you have to channel your own emotional filters and don't at all think from today about emotional approximations. That's going to make you a mere performer. You want to be an artist. Okay, so let's get into that. Now we're gonna discover emotional stamps. We're gonna do the same thing, sing random melodies, explore our range. Let's start with the emotion of, let's look at two types of safety. Okay, let's look at a childlike safety first, right? So you're thinking like you don't know anything about the world. You're in a new world because you're a child, right? And because you don't know danger, you feel quite safe. You feel innocently safe. Dial up that feeling, right? Childlike safety. You're like, what could happen? And what's this new world? Ooh, let me put that finger into that, uh, uh, flame or whatever. Kids do all these kind of silly things, right? So you're this excited, innocent, fully safe, fully confident being now. Don't approximate the emotion. Go into the child that you were and sing. Da la 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 la. You got to remember that there's no danger in this new world. It's just all fun and full of new things. La 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 la. You're a kid. Da 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 da. Yeah? And now you remember the melody that you're singing. Repeat it once more. La 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 la. Now you're someone who has seen danger, who has seen dark times, and has come out of it into safety, right? So we're using two signals of safety, but with different contexts. So now you're a grown-up who knows that the world can be difficult. We are all going through a difficult time right now anyway. But we are safe. We are safe enough to be on this live thing together. So now sing with this knowing. La 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 la. Like I'm so grateful that I'm safe enough to do this. La 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 la. I'm quite certain all your voices feel a little different. Da la 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 la. So you've added subtext, and it's a physical change in sound. Try this. And now slowly shift back into the childlike safety where, I don't know anything about the world. This is a fun, colorful world. Come on. La la la, la la la, da la la, la 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 la. Your voice is it's going to have a distinct different quality. Yeah? Thank you, Scott. Thanks, Vrinda. Okay, now let's go to something else. A lot of the times we are given songs that are big, that are kind of either angry or really out there, right? But that's not how a lot of us experience anger. First, it kind of, for me, kind of simmers inside. You're like, you take in what happened. And then slowly the anger develops, right? So I want us to look at that rather than an aggressive vocal. I want us to express the depth of our anger, right? So I want you to invoke a time, any time that you remember, where you felt slighted, right? The moment that something happened, someone was rude or someone kind of hurt your sense of self in some way, right? So what you do is first you take in that not that emotion, the situation. So there's this, and then there's a response that slowly builds. So put yourself in that place Don't think angry looking, angry sounding, think angry feeling. And now look at how your sound intensifies on its own and carries the different grades of anger that may develop. Okay? So, boom, time travel back to that moment. The thing has been done, said, or discovered. And you go, oh, like, ooh, oh, that happened. Oh, and how's that making me feel now that it's happened? Let the flux begin. Oh, oh, oh. Does it hurt or does it feel just angry? Oh, tap into it. Oh, maybe it hurts, maybe it doesn't. Oh, maybe it's indignation. Oh, oh, oh. Allow it to spread, allow it to grow. Anger is an important emotion too, because in certain ways it activates us to take action, to make decisions. Oh, it's growing. Oh, you're not pushing your body. You're just allowing the body to release and express the anger. Oh, oh. For me, I'm angry and hurt. For you, you might be just angry and indignant or angry and scornful. It doesn't matter. Oh, like, how dare you? Oh, how could you? Oh, how could you? Oh, 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 why to me? Whoa, how could you? How could you? Let it grow. This is not a pushed anger. It's just a felt release. Try. You're back in the moment. How could you? How could you really? How dare you? There's no approximation. Try to discover how your body filters out your anger, your kind, your style of being mad. And then we're going to dial it down and we're going to go to pardon. Now, I'm not asking you to pardon if you're not ready. But if you are, well, this is a good time to practice feeling it and knowing how your voice makes that sound. I don't know, it's 59 minutes. Okay, let's just finish it. This is a pardon. Anybody you're ready to forgive and let go of old pains, old hurts. It's all right. I'm at peace. It's hurt, but it's in the past. I feel like crying. And it's okay. I forgive you. I release the pain so that I'm okay to forgive. Mm-hmm. Yeah? How's that feeling on your bodies? Great, Simran, amazing. I think I'm seeing all your comments a little late, but So, just to wrap up what we did today, your voice is not one beep of a sound, it's every note is a choir of sounds. Number two, your eyes, the focus of your eyes, the tightness and relaxation of the focus of your eyes is directly related to how much you can hear. So you want to have a relaxed focus. Third, there's a time stamp in the overtonal quality of your voice, which means that the way, and this time stamp is very body, body feels different at different times of the day, and it invokes those vocal colors when you summon that time stamp, right? There's an angle stamp depending on where you're sending your voice in the universe. And lastly, and most importantly, there's the stamp of true emotion and there's the stamp of approximated emotion. So an approximated emotion makes a listener think that they're looking at a performance, whereas a truly felt emotion is going to send them a story, or even more powerful, it's going to light up a story within them. They're going to remember something and they might just come to you and tell you that story. It's happened to so many of us, and it's because there was an exchange of truly felt emotion. Right? So I hope this was helpful, and thank you so much for being part of this session with me. And please keep singing and please keep exploring all these things. None of these things can be written on paper. They are different, and they're different from the brief of empiricals. High, low, loud, soft. Those are very, very basic empiricals. But the richness of our expression and our physical voice is in how we allow all these perceptions to come through. So good night, everyone. And for some people, it's probably not night, but thank you for joining in, and I hope to see you again.